If I'm going to do my Alma Woodsy Thomas project with paint, what I'm going to do to get ready is I'm going to find a piece of paper I can paint on. I'm going to find a palette. I like to use a paper plate because I can throw it away when I'm done. And I'm going to squeeze out just a small dab of paint onto my paper plate of each of the colors that I'm willing to use at home. And then I'm going to look for a brush that's flat. Okay, an acrylic brush is normally a stiffer brush than a watercolor brush. It is flat on the edge down here, so it's flat against my fingertip, and it's hard. When I push it in my fingertip, it stays stiff. If you're working really large at home and mom and dad are willing to let you and work with you, if you've got an old brush that you used for house painting, that will even work for this. If you've got a smaller one that was used for the edges and things like that. So this is kind of a fun one to use some of those old brushes that maybe aren't in the best of shape anymore, but are nice and firm, okay? Because an acrylic brush would typically be very, very firm. On my paper, I'm going to start with drawing the first letter of my name. So since my name is Mrs. Mewson, I'm going to go ahead and draw a large letter M. Now, I drew mine in Sharpie so you can see it, but you could draw yours in pencil so you can erase it later, or in a color of a crayon if you wish. Then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dip just the very tip of it into the paint color that I want to start with, and I want to start with my blue. You can see there's only blue at the very, very edge, or what we call the toe of the brush. There's not blue creeping way up here into the guard of the brush. With that blue on the toe of my brush, I'm going to use my brush to create dots or little dash lines going all over my M. So I'm essentially just setting my brush down to make a little dash line and picking it back up again. I'm going to go over the entire letter with my blue, and then I can choose to mix my color. Now, in school, I did not let students clean their brush between colors, because one of the things that we love to see happen is when those colors actually mix and blend. Since everybody has their own palette, this is a great time to play with those mixes and those blends. So I'm going to take my brush that's still got blue on it and it's dirty. I'm going to scoop a little bit of gold out here to the middle, and I'm going to just mix that gold with the blue that I had on my brush, and I kind of end up with a greeny color, and I'm going to run a line of those dots just inside of the dots that I already have. When I run out of paint, just go back and get a little bit more and keep on going. Now that means some of these dots end up multicolored, and that's quite all right. They've got more than one tone or more than one color to them. Now that my brush is nice and dry and clean, I'm going to go ahead and trade colors again, dipping just the toe of my brush into my new color, and then repeating my dot lines again. Now, depending on your letter, you could go all the way around it, which is something I could do with my letter M, or you can do the inside and then do the outside, but you're going to want to work your dots until you fill your entire piece of paper. Okay, the more dots you put on here, the more fun this project will look when it's all the way done. So go ahead and work those dots all the way to the edges of your paper, continuing to blend your colors as you go. And when you're finished, you will have a beautiful painting inspired by Alma Woodsy Thomas. Have fun mixing your colors and playing around with those dot dashes in this one.